everyone, it's me, Megan. I am coming to you with another ASMR video. In this one, we are going to be reading some poetry. I have 3 books here. The first one is The Poetry of Robert Frost. The next one I have here is Elizabeth Bishop. And the last one I have is Sylvia Plath. So I'm just going to be reading poems picked at random, nothing in particular, and I hope you enjoy this. Also, I wanted to let you guys know some exciting news. I ordered a microphone today. I got the Blue Yeti microphone, which I've had my eye on for quite a while, and it will be here on Tuesday. So I'm hoping to test that out on Tuesday night and have a new video for you at that point. I'm really looking forward to that. So anyway, let's get started. I think I'll start with Sylvia Plath. And again, I'm just picking a few things at random. Let's see. Okay, this one is called Southern Sunrise, and Sylvia Plath wrote this in 1956. Color of lemon, mango, peach, these storybook villas still dream behind shutters, their balconies fine as hand-made lace or a leaf and flower pen sketch, tilting the winds on arrowy stems, pineapple barked, a green crescent of palms sends up its forked firework of fronds. A quartz-clear dawn, inch by bright inch, gilds all our avenue, and out of the blue drench of Angel's Bay rises the round, red watermelon sun. I love the sound of pages turning. This is a random aside, but when I was a kid, when I would, in school, when the teacher would have independent work time because she was grading papers or we were supposed to be reading or whatever the case was, the sound of the teacher shuffling her papers at her desk would put me to sleep, I swear. It was super hard to stay awake. It was very tingly. Okay, let's see. This one is called Old Lady's Home. Sharded in black like beetles, frail as antique earthenware, one breath might shiver to bits. The old women creep out here to sun on the rocks or prop themselves up against the wall whose stones keep a little heat. Needles knit in a bird-beaked counterpoint to their voices. Sons, daughters, daughters and sons, distant and cold as photos. Grandchildren nobody knows. Age wears the best black fabric, rust red or green as lichens. At owl call, the old ghosts flock to hustle them off the lawn. From beds boxed in like coffins, the bonneted ladies grin, and death, that bald-headed buzzard, stalls in holes where the lamp wick shortens with each breath drawn. That was uplifting, wasn't it? Let's see. I don't know how much you know about Sylvia Plath, but she has a tendency to be a little on the dark side, so I figured it would be good to start with her and move toward lighter fare. Let's see. This is called Aquatic Nocturne. Deep in liquid indigo, turquoise slivers of dilute light quiver in thin streaks of bright tinfoil on mobile jet. Pale flounder waver by tilting silver. In the shallows, agile minnows flicker gilt. Great blue mussels dilate lithe and pliant valves. Dull lunar globes of bulbous jellyfish glow milk green. Eels twirl in wily spirals on elusive tails. Adroit lobsters amble darkly olive on shrewd claws. Down where sound comes blunt and wan like the bronze tone of a sunken gong. Those were a few poems out of this book. Next, we'll read some of Elizabeth Bishop. This is called Filling Station. Oh, but it is dirty, this little filling station. Oil-soaked, oil permeated to a disturbing overall black translucency. Be careful with that match. Father wears a dirty, oil-soaked monkey suit that cuts him under the arms, and several quick and saucy and greasy sons assist him. It's a family filling station, all quite thoroughly dirty. Do they live in the station? It has a cement porch behind the pumps, and on it a set of crushed and grease-impregnated wickerwork. On the wicker sofa, a dirty dog, quite comfy. Some comic books provide the only note of color, of certain color. They lie upon a big, dim doily, draping a tabouret, part of the set, beside a big hirsute begonia. Why the extraneous plant? Why the tabouret? Why, oh, why the doily? In embroidered in daisy stitch with marguerites, I think, and heavy with gray crochet. Somebody embroidered the doily. Somebody waters the plants or oils it, maybe. Somebody arranges the rows of cans so that they softly say, so, 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 to high-strung automobiles. Somebody loves us all. What is this poem? This one is called Insomnia. The moon in the bureau mirror looks out 1,000,000 miles, and perhaps with pride at herself, but she never, never smiles. Far and away beyond sleep, or perhaps she's a daytime sleeper. By the universe deserted, she'd tell it to go to hell, and she'd find a body of water or a mirror on which to dwell. So wrap up care in a cobweb and drop it down the well into that world inverted where left is always right, where the shadows are really the body, where we stay awake all night, where the heavens are shallow as the sea is now deep, and you love me. Let's see. This one is called Sleeping Standing Up. As we lie down to sleep, the world turns half away through 90 dark degrees. The bureau lies on the wall, and thoughts that were recumbent in the day rise as the others fall. Stand up and make a forest of thick-set trees. The armored cars of dreams contrived to let us do so many a dangerous thing, are chugging at its edge, all camouflaged, and ready to go through the swiftest streams or up a ledge of crumbling shale while plates and trappings ring. Through turret slits we saw the crumbs or pebbles that lay below the riveted flanks on the green forest floor, like those the clever children placed by day and followed to their door one night at least, and in the ugly tanks we tracked them all the night. Sometimes they disappeared, dissolving in the moss. Sometimes we went too fast and ground them underneath. How stupidly we steered until the night was past and never found out where the cottage was. This one is called A Miracle for Breakfast. At 6 o'clock we were waiting for coffee in the charitable crumb that was going to be served from a certain balcony, like kings of old, or like a miracle. It was still dark. 1 foot of the sun steadied itself on a long ripple in the river. The first ferry of the day had just crossed the river. It was so cold we hoped that the coffee would be very hot, seeing that the sun was not going to warm us, and that the crumb would be a loaf each, buttered by a miracle. At 7 a man stepped out on the balcony. He stood for a minute alone on the balcony, looking over our heads toward the river. A servant handed him the makings of a miracle, consisting of 1 lone cup of coffee and 1 roll, which he proceeded to crumb, his head, so to speak, in the clouds along with the sun. Was the man crazy? What under the sun was he trying to do up there on his balcony? Each man received 1 rather hard crumb, with some flicked scornfully in the river, and in a cup 1 drop of the coffee. Some of us stood around waiting for the miracle. I can tell what I saw next. It was not a miracle. A beautiful villa stood in the sun, and from its doors came the smell of hot coffee. In front, a baroque white plaster balcony added by birds who nest along the river. I saw it with one eye close to the crumb, and galleries and marble chambers. My crumb, my mansion, made for me by a miracle, through ages, by insects, birds, and the river working the stone. Every day in the sun, at breakfast time I sit on my balcony with my feet up and drink gallons of coffee. We licked up the crumb and swallowed the coffee. A window across the river caught the sun as if the miracle were working on the wrong balcony. This next one is called Manners for a Child of 1918. My grandfather said to me as we sat on the wagon seat, "Be sure to remember to always speak to everyone you meet." We met a stranger on foot. My grandfather's whip tapped his hat. "Good day, sir, good day, a fine day," and I said it and bowed where I sat. Then we overtook a boy we knew with his big pet crow on his shoulder. Always offer everyone a ride. Don't forget that when you're older," my grandfather said. So Willie climbed up with us, but the crow gave a caw and flew off. I was worried. How would he know where to go? But he flew a little way at a time from fence post to fence post ahead, and when Willie whistled, he answered. "A fine bird," my grandfather said. "And he's well brought up. See, he answers nicely when he's spoken to. Man or beast, that's good manners. Be sure that you both always do." When automobiles went by, the dust hit the people's faces, but we shouted, good day, fine day," at the top of our voices. When we came to Hustler Hill, he said that the mare was tired, so we all got down and walked as our good manners required. That was just a few poems from Elizabeth Bishop. And the last book we're going to read from is Robert Frost. See what we should read. This poem is called The Road Not Taken. Two roads diverged, starting over. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both and be one traveler. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for that, the passing there had worn them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, Yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. I really do like Robert Frost. Let's see. This one is another one of my favorites. It is called Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near, between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sound's the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark, and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. This one is called Birches. When I see birches bend left to left and right across the lines of straighter, darker trees, I like to think some boy's been swinging them. But swinging doesn't bend them down to stay as ice storms do. Often you must have seen them loaded with ice a sunny winter morning after a rain. They click upon themselves as the breeze rises and turn many-colored as the stir cracks and crazes their enamel. Soon the sun's warmth makes them shed crystal shells, shattering and avalanching on the snow crust. Such heaps of broken glass to sweep away, you'd think the inner dome of heaven had fallen. They are dragged to the withered bracken by the load, and they seem not to break, though once they are bowed for too long, they never right themselves. You may see their trunks arching in the woods years afterwards, trailing their leaves on the ground like girls on hands and knees that throw their hair before them over their heads to dry in the sun. But I was going to say, when truth broke in with all her matter of fact about the ice storm, I should prefer to have some boy bend them as he went out and in to fetch the cows. Some boy too far from town to learn baseball, whose only play was what he found himself, summer or winter, and could play alone. One by one, he subdued his father's trees by riding them down over and over again until he took the stiffness out of them. And not one but hung limp, not one was left for him to conquer. He learned all there was to learn about not launching out too soon, and so not carrying the tree away clear to the ground. He always kept his poise to the top branches, climbing carefully with the same pains he used to fill a cup up to the brim, and even above the brim. Then he flung outward, feet first, with a swish, kicking his way down through the air to the ground. So was I once myself a swinger of birches, and so I dream of going back to be. It's when I'm weary of considerations and life is too much like a pathless wood where your face burns and tickles with the cobwebs broken across it, and one eye is weeping from a twig's having lashed across it open. I'd like to get away from earth a while and then come back to it and begin over. May no fate willfully misunderstand me as half grant what I wish and snatch me away not to return. Earth's the right place for love. I don't know where it's likely to go better. I'd like to go by climbing a birch tree and climb back branches up a snow-white trunk toward heaven till the tree could bear no more but dipped its top and set me down again. That would be good both going and coming back. one could do worse than be a swinger of birches. We will read one more. Let's see. Okay. This one is called A Passing Glimpse to Ridgely Torrance on Last Looking into His... no. Hold on for 1 second. I think we're going to read this one instead. Sorry about that. This is called A Peck of Gold. Dust always blowing about the town except when sea fog laid it down, and I was one of the children told some of the blowing dust was gold. All the dust the wind blew high appeared like gold in the sunset sky, but I was one of the children told some of the dust was really gold. Such was life in the Golden Gate. Gold dusted all we drank and ate, and I was one of the children told we all must eat our peck of gold. You enjoyed this video. I will definitely be back with more later in the week. Like I said, on Tuesday when I get my microphone, I definitely plan to make a video that evening to test it out, so you all will have to let me know how you think the sound quality is when I post that. And in the meantime, I hope you're all doing well. I hope this video was relaxing and that you are fast asleep by now. Thanks, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.